Hey, Nicole,
Hello.
do you realize that the three of us started our day together at 8 a.m.?
Right, second meeting after, yeah, about that.
And okay, so hey, Christian,
Hello,
this is the last time we sit together as co-chairs.
that's right.
Now, now Barbara and I are co-secretaries.
Oh, yeah, big whoop, right?
Yeah.
What a night.
Yeah.
You're the
well,
secretaries? Oh, could I have a cup of coffee? I'm kidding. I am kidding.
I know that. I know that.
You better be kidding, Doug.
You want to get it yourself.
I am very, that's right. I only make my own
I'll
coffee.
bring you coffee. I'll dump it right on your head.
As you should, if I ever had it. That's right.
Big agenda tonight.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'll tell you, when I used to perform at Club Med, there's Ed Hirsch.
You performed there?
I used to perform there for them a lot. And if you've ever been to a Club Med, they have the chief of the village. They refer to as the chef de village.
I've been there.
Right. So there's, which is really, it's really like an authoritative, it's a French company, and the chief of the village is the boss. And I remember being there, and there was one chief of the village that was very pompous, and he'd walk around, and there were two ladies that came up to him like, "Oh, you're the chef de village? The pancakes were great." And he's like, no, I'm the chief. I'm not the anyway.
I get it. Benjamin, I just want to say hi, because I don't think we ever met. I'm Barbara.
Hi, Barbara. Yeah, I think I've seen you speak a number of times, and look forward to meeting hopefully in person, and good to see you.
Yes, one of these days that would be really great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benjamin.
Anyway, welcome to Board 7. It's a little
We
late.
have a quorum, guys. 1, 2,
Not yet, we need one more.
3, 4. Wait, Benjamin, you're officially on the committee, right?
I just got to a local business to support them. I'm here.
Yes.
Look at you all handsome and dressed up. Wow.
Doesn't look like my business, but okay.
Gosh, you see what a nice guy looks like when you're all dressed up like that.
Did you say that to?
Look at Andrew, he's got a
Andrew.
tie on.
Did you say that to me?
Yeah.
I don't own clothes like that.
Yeah.
That suit looks so pre-pandemic.
You would make your mother proud and be so handsome.
Hey, borrow yours, maybe
Hey, we're not
100 pounds
recording.
ago.
Yeah, we're recording actually, yes.
Oh, hell. Okay.
So we have a quorum, so why don't we start?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
We only
Who's
have one
taking
application
minutes?
tonight. 2756 Broadway was postponed. So we only have 430 Amsterdam Avenue.
Anthony was supposed to take minutes this evening.
Yes, but if it doesn't happen, I'll do it.
That's what happened last time. Oh,
Yeah, I
buddy.
know.
Okay. And now I'm officially secretary. Okay.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. And congratulations to you, Ben. This is how we BCI. So, let's
So,
see.
Josh, are you the only representative for
I
430
am
Amsterdam?
the representative of 430 Amsterdam. Yes.
Okay, so why don't you start?
Well, we're applying for a change of method of operation. We are adding to our method of operation to have the ability to have live music, a DJ, and security. And that was just to get our liquor license in order because it had not had all of those on the license previous. We want to make sure we were on board.
Josh, what kind of live music are we talking about?
We're talking about on the rare occasion that we have a private party and they want to bring in some people to do maybe a little band or like we've had a couple acoustic guitar players. We had a little band before COVID, but it's not something that we're doing on a regular basis. We just want to have it on there in case we ever do have it, that we're not doing it without permission of the state liquor authority.
Okay, and what kind of soundproofing have we got?
Written on the application, but it's in the ceiling. I have to look at the exact wording of it, but you can see it on the application.
But it's really good. Because I know you, I've watched you grill other
It
firms.
says here, double layer 5/8-inch sheetrock plus additional layer of 2 pieces of 5/8 sheetrock also.
Thank you.
Attached to vibration mounts thereby creating a space in between.
I'm gonna venture that if Josh is doing, because I've seen him, he knows more about this stuff than my husband's sound recording engineer.
Now, I also want us to join, to welcome Sonia is a new member of the committee.
Right.
Sonia Garcia.
Sonia.
Hey, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Sonia.
So Josh, nothing has changed, everything else is the same?
Pardon me?
Nothing has changed, the same hours?
Same, yes. I mean, well, that's not exactly true. And we have the 4 a.m., but now we're closing pretty much Sunday through Wednesday at like 2 o'clock because we just don't, it's not worth it for us to stay open anymore at this
Okay.
time.
Mhm,
Pre-COVID, we were 4 o'clock no matter what, but
mhm.
now we're just making decision based on the amount of people that are here late night. It's just at this time, the business is not back to that amount for us to warrant being open on those nights. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, pretty much 3, 4 o'clock. Friday, Saturday for sure.
Okay, so it's basically as it always was. Yeah.
Okay, so before we go to questions, Josh, have you received any complaints? Have anybody come to the restaurant to complain about noise?
I have not received any myself. I also do speak with the building manager, and I did it in preparation for this meeting to ask if there were any complaints in regards to this, and he said he had not heard any. He said he's in contact with the tenants all the time, and so he and I are in contact because of that, and he told me he had not received any complaints from any of the tenants.
So the office forwarded to us one email from Rose Ellis, apparently a resident of 430 Amsterdam.
Mhm.
Let me read it because it's short.
Please, please.
It's the only email that we've received. It says, I am a tenant at 430 Amsterdam Avenue. I don't think this should be approved. This bar already get calls for loud noise and etc. They get calls for noise, and most of the time the official doesn't show because so many other things are going on. Why this should be loud noise in this area? This is adding on to the problems. This is not good. Thank you for your consideration. It's all about money, not about people's lives and welfare in this community. I mean, that's the only sign we have of any opposition.
You said, when you read, just want to make sure I understand. When you read, you said official. What does official mean?
I presume she means police officials. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. I don't know either. Okay.
Right, because that's what it said.
Okay, we have a comment that, Ben, you've had your hand up?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. It's a little bit more of my learning. I assume this is more unique that that Josh you're presenting because it's not usually that a committee member presents. It's just a unique situation where I guess you're an owner of the establishment.
That is correct. I'm the operating partner.
Got it. Okay, that was just my question, more for my own learning.
Fairly unusual, but we have had, at that time, that's happened, yes.
And you know, I'm here a lot. So anytime anybody wants to talk to me, they can easily find me.
Yeah.
I think I had drinks there at your establishment last year, so
Oh, great.
Glad to support.
And I'm here
Jake,
right now.
Jake Silver. Oh, are you? I'll try to find you and say hello next time.
We're
I'm
gonna
there.
hear from committee members.
Barbara Linda and I tried to show up at 3:30, but you were closed.
That's not true.
Yes.
Oh, and
We'll hear from committee members and then we'll hear from the public. I see Doug Kleiman's hands up.
Yeah, so I see some members of the public with their hands up. No, I mean, to answer Ben's question too, obviously, Josh will not be voting. He's already disclosed his
He knows
fulfilled
that.
his
Correct.
duty and conflicts of interest. So that's
Correct.
everything's transparent here. And I just have a quick question for you, Josh.
Sure.
I know that your partner's establishment probably, do they own this? Can we mute Virginia Thomas? Okay, there. Okay, we already did that. Do you guys own the building too?
They're separate corporations.
Got it. Understood. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that actually. Yeah. If
The building is a retail space, and the ground floor is a retail space rented from the residential building.
Understood. Great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, let's see, we have, should we call Virginia Thomas?
Yes. Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself. Hi.
I'm sorry, Virginia.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
Now, can you hear me okay, everybody?
Yes.
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to start out very friendly. I am a tenant there, and it's been up and down with Jake's over the many, many years. But it's not a foolproof system by any means. And I didn't talk to you, Josh, but even last Friday night, there was some music late, and you could just feel the building shaking. I mean, it was loud. It woke me up at 1 a.m. I considered calling authorities, managed to get back to sleep. And, things happen from time to time, and I try to be patient. I'm very patient. But with this development, I am very, very concerned, actually, because I don't think that the Upper West Side is a place for disco dancing until 4 a.m. I think that this is really a neighborhood of elderly folks, people with strollers, kids, and disco dancing is appropriate for somewhere for younger crowd, downtown, midtown, but not really in our little West Side neighborhood. And it's interesting because we have 4 establishments, very interestingly, all within the same block. It's Jake's and the St. James Gate, the Gin Mill, and the Dead Poet. They're all open to 4 a.m. in the morning. The rest of the Upper West Side is quiet, closes at.
Not true, Virginia, but keep going. I live across from Jacob's Pickles.
What?
It's not true. There are plenty of restaurants I live on Amsterdam Avenue, as do you.
I'll tell you something. What I mean by saying that is this is a 4 a.m. curfew that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the Jacob's Pickup. Jacob's Pickles is open. Maybe that's.
I live across the street, Virginia, and I know how late it's open. And
yeah, I know it's at 4 a.m. on Saturday and 2 a.m. on Sunday. So that is an exception. Otherwise, and you have the dive bar, and that's at 75th, and that's like a casual bar, the way Jake's always really was. That's open very late till 4, and then you have the Dublin House.
Right.
Otherwise, everywhere else on the Upper West Side, unless I guess if you get up to maybe Columbia, doesn't have any bars, or they're not open. They're closing at midnight. And so we're in a very concentrated spot here between 80th and 82nd Street. And it's already very busy. It's an anomaly to the neighborhood. And I think adding discoing to this picture is for someone that was going to live above this rickety system to some extent, Josh, to just be, kind, but, truthful, is really, it's very, very troubling to me. And, in a perfect world, I know you don't want to disturb the neighbors, but it happens. And believe me, it does. And I'm very, very concerned about this. And, I'll have to, we'll have to get decibel meters. We'll have to call 311. Do they answer? It's very difficult when you're up at night at midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning. And, you're trying to take this reading and, is anybody going to come? They're going to come when you're in your nightgown. I mean, it just seems like we already have a system that's very, working as a bar, I guess, quote unquote. And then this just is not a good addition to the neighborhood, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you, Virginia.
A question.
You're welcome.
When you say disco, are you referring because you feel it's loud music or?
Yes, it's an application for live music, which Joshua has described as maybe intermittent or rare. And the other thing is a DJ. And I can speak to that actually, because oddly enough, last week at around 4 p.m., I was at my desk and I was doing my thing and I hear boom, boom. And it's not a loud, it's that undertone, it's that under decibel, whatever, that very low pulsing. And I went downstairs, and to your credit, Josh, there was a very nice bartender there. She let me look around and I said, it's going all the way up the building. It's pulse. She said, I'll tell Josh, maybe she told you. And And nicely, I found their sound was relieved. It was turned in. But the interesting part about this is that I looked in the back and I saw these speakers. And I looked up and I said, those are JBL speakers. Those are pretty sophisticated equipment here. And then I looked up in a corner and there's all these soundboards. And it definitely looked to me like if you're in Ibiza or something. I mean, not much more smaller, but it looked like almost like a booth, like when you go dancing and you see somebody up there and they're all by them, you know, they've got a whole big, it looked very elaborate, very expensive, and very sophisticated. And I was surprised, but it kind of jogged in my head, you know, this is why I'm hearing this. You know, this is expensive, very nice equipment. And it's going to give out, you know, clear, you know, really what you wanted in a very high quality music for people to dance to. Otherwise you would have, you know, what you probably always had, I guess what I call old-fashioned hi-fi, you know, a stereo, or I don't know how you do, or, you know, you've got Spotify coming out of the speakers, but this looked, you know, and I think
Virginia, you're making your point loud and clear.
It encourages dancing. It encourages dancing.
I don't know if the space would warrant that, but Josh, you want to respond?
Well, I would say that, like I said at the beginning, we applied for the change of method of operation because we wanted to be on board with the state liquor authority to have these things on our liquor license. We've been operating this way for a long time until we had to make the change on our method of operation. So the speakers that are there are the same speakers that have been there. And we do have the DJ play on Friday and Saturday nights. But every other time when the bar is open, we do have the music from Spotify. I'm not sure what you did hear during the other day. I have no idea because, again, I'm not in your space, so I can't possibly know what you're hearing.
Yeah.
But if there ever is an issue, you just need to let us know and we can address it. Like that's the most important thing. And that's why I spoke with Ted, who's the building manager, to ask him if he had heard of any kind of complaints from anybody or any comments, because I wanted to be prepared for this, you know, to answer any questions. And he told me that no one has reached out to him. And so that's why I'm a little surprised.
You know what's interesting is that I think with COVID, the bar has been very muted, and it's been really great. And, you know, you guys are open late, and, you know, we got through that, and, you know, maybe it pared back. And what sort of concerned me was that this noise on Friday night was loud, and so was it during the, and I don't know if you're like, if this is a gearing up for, you know, the post-COVID era. And it's this, would be more comfortable, I guess. I don't know how, it's a good point. How is a live DJ going to be different from a Spotify? It just sounds to me like dancing and a disco, and it changes the tone of the area. It's no longer a bar. There's, you know, dancing is, I tend to think of it as a more rowdy event. Now, we could postulate that this will be a DJ who will play Spotify, but
Virginia,
that's the gray area, maybe.
Okay.
Virginia, thank you, but I do believe they have no dancing, and I just can confirm that, I believe.
Well, I mean, look, there are times when music is played and people dance. That's just a natural human reaction to music.
Exactly.
We're not a dance club, if that's what you're saying.
You don't have the space.
And we're not a nightclub, and we've been here now for 28 years, and we're pretty much the same thing. And I think that one of the things that people in general are experiencing is that when COVID happened and there was a kind of lull in the city, there was also a kind of quietness to neighborhoods, and now things are getting back to normal. I put normal in quotes, and people are kind of saying, you know, I love living in New York City when it was quiet, but before COVID, New York City was New York City. And I think that just, you know, people had this way of feeling like, wow, this is not what I'm used to. And now they got used to it, but now we're back to where we were, and they're not.
You know what? And you live in New York. It's at will. No, one does. One lives here at will. And you see, and this is what's sort of the wrinkle, though. If everything's going to be the same, then why is the sign up and, why does the permit? That's the thing, because I agree with you. And this could just be a conversation, the music was a little loud the other day. What do I do? And she was great, Josh. She was great. She tried,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, not at all. And Ted is a great resource. I'll tell him. But the thing that's really ringing a bell here or concerning me is now we have a permit for a live DJ. And so is that
Again,
gonna change things or
no,
why
it
do we?
Again, it doesn't change anything. It's just a matter of being compliant with the state liquor authority. They ask for certain things when you get your liquor license, and you have to put those on your liquor license, because if you don't put them on your liquor license and you do them, there can be consequences for that. It's like any other kind of
All right, but let me
business.
ask you, why would you have a live person, like, I guess you're gonna have someone standing in that booth area I saw.
Virginia, I think what he said was that he was going to do this for the intermittent private parties rather than it being a nightly thing.
That's for live music, Linda.
No, that's for live music. That's not for the DJ. All right, so you're gonna have not just not like the Spotify running in the back, but you're gonna have a live person.
We have not, with the exception of COVID, on Friday and Saturday nights, we've always had a live person playing music.
So you went ahead and I don't jump the gun. In other words, you've been doing it. Nothing's going to change. You've been doing what this permit is just going to officially.
We needed to change because the change was required. Yes.
Okay, so business as usual is what you're saying. I'm not going to experience anything different. It's all paperwork. This is really a paperwork.
That is 100% correct.
And so the sound level that I'm hearing now, and maybe Friday night was a fluke, and maybe it's good that I've talked to you today. And
I'll be here if you want to come down and talk also. That's not a problem.
You'll be where? At the bar?
I'm here a lot. Yeah.
At Jake's?
Yeah, I'm here right now.
You're at Jake's right now?
I am.
Hi, Jake's. Okay.
Go down there and have a drink.
Okay.
Okay, Sonia, you've got your hand up, and then we'll call Doug. You've already spoken.
You're on mute.
Sonia, you've got to unmute. Sonia, unmute.
Okay, I have two questions.
Sure.
One question is, for the live music, what kind of live music do you play?
In the past, it's been acoustic guitar, maybe a horn.
Okay.
But there might be an electric guitar, but not like Black Sabbath or anything like that. More like
what's the genre? Yeah, what's the genre of music?
It's folky.
Folky. Okay.
That's what it's been. That's what we've had in the past. Yeah.
Okay, and the other question is, how many 311 complaints have you received?
I haven't received any, but I haven't looked that up because, the board, they have that information at the board.
The board office indicated there was one complaint, and he didn't have a series of 311s.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
Great.
Well, I just want to say that I think this is a good example of a neighbor who asked a lot of questions, and the owner answered the questions and is committing to answer more questions. They know they know where they are. They're in the same building, and they're probably in the same building right now. I'm happy about that. I also understand that Ted is another building manager, is another resource. Glad to hear that. I'm really glad, Ms. Thomas, that you said that you had a good experience. I understand there's no such thing as perfection, and you can have a good day and a bad day, but I'm very happy that you reported yourself that when you came in, you had a friendly staff and they responded and lowered the bass or the music. So the fact that this establishment has been there for 28 years, and we have an as of right on Amsterdam Avenue. Now, whether you like it or not, and I understand, I don't like, being bothered either, but the fact is that Amsterdam Avenue is a commercial corridor, and that's a fact. Josh could not have an establishment like this on Riverside Drive or West End Avenue. And that's why bars and restaurants are on this avenue. So I just, Josh, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, and I think you already said it, but
that depends what you're going to say.
will you go to the prom with me? No, the question,
Sure.
no, the question I have is, will you commit publicly that if Miss Thomas has an issue, that you're available to speak with her and your manager is, and you will stay in contact so that you can mitigate any potential future problems?
Of course, and not just Miss Thomas, anybody. Of course.
That sounds good to me. I hope
And
it's
and if I'm not here, leave a message and I'll get back to you. It's
And
very
one last thing, I'm also very happy to know that this is really, as you mentioned, business as usual, but this is paperwork to make sure that everything,
Right.
I'll use a term I'm familiar with, is kosher. So I'm
Okay, this is great. We've got Andrew, you've got your hand up and you're walking around and, okay.
Yes, I stepped out. No, I just wanted to kind of reiterate. I think what Doug said is spot on. I think, a neighbor coming and the owner of the bar having a conversation is exactly what we should do. And I think it's great that Josh is willing to speak with her and other people that live in the building at any time. I just wanted to make one comment. I've made it before, that the sound code does apply to recorded music. So Spotify, a live band, a DJ. So the same sound code does apply to all these types of sound. You're in violation of one, you're in violation of the other. So it doesn't necessarily matter whether it's someone playing an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar, a DJ, or it's just playing Spotify. The same law applies regulating that sound. And I think that is the condition under which we should have this discussion, because you could have someone blasting pre-recorded music with bass shaking the whole entire building, but then you could have someone, playing an acoustic guitar and no one else hears it and there's no bass. So, we need to really look at what the sound code says versus sometimes what people's impressions are based on where the sound is coming from. And I completely understand what the neighbor said, that different types of activity may have a different type of crowd. But again, you're still required to manage what happens, at the business. So that was just kind of a general comment about it. But, I think and we have generally known Josh to be very receptive to this stuff. And it's good that members of the neighborhood come out and have these conversations.
We've watched him hold other operators' feet to the fire too. I mean, it is a very, and Virginia, let me tell you, I live with all of my windows on Amsterdam Avenue and with facing 3 restaurants. I totally get it. It is challenging. It is challenging at times. So I totally empathize with what you're saying. It's tough. It really is. And, but you've got a receptive, and so do I, I have a receptive operator. When I have a problem, I make phone calls, and that's what we do.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
Josh, Ms. Thomas asked on the question and answer, if you can have your cell phone on or email.
Yeah, I can give the email for sure. I'll put it in.
Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
See if I can.
And do the tenants, the residents you're building in the building, do they have your manager's cell phone number, the mobile, so they can reach out to them too?
They have the bar phone number. I'll put that in there too.
Oh, fantastic! So they can reach you. Okay, this is good. Okay.
Okay, Josh, I made you a co-host, so you can answer that question directly.
I don't see it in the.
I'm putting it in. I'm doing it now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
He's a hospitality guy. He doesn't type as fast as us.
That's not true. I type very quick.
Okay, then fine.
So let's talk about those in favor.
You gotta be quick in New York.
Committee members, all those in favor, raise your hand. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am 7. So committee member, that's 7001, since Josh is not eligible to vote. Non-committee members.
Do you see the? I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you see the emails and phone number?
Yeah, I'm just getting my phone to take a picture. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Except I'm going to retype one because we just changed it. So
Okay, so once again, non-committee members, raise your hand if you're in favor. And I'm counting you, Benjamin, on this one. So that's
Two.
1, 2, 3. So that's 3-0-0-0.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Three.
that does take care of our one application today.
And I hope you don't mind my calling you Virginia. I'm Linda, but thank you so much for coming. It's tough. I know.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. I do.
And
Thank
and
you
I
very
vote, I'm no vote for cause.
Yes, I know. I got that.
We already,
Okay.
we have
Just making
put it
sure.
down already.
So
Just making sure.
moving on to a new business section, I want to bring one issue first, and then we can open the floor. Seema had emailed me a link of an article which I forwarded to all the members. The essence of the article is that it appeared to have been brought up by somebody on Community Board 1, that as part of the SLA law, you cannot serve alcohol across a roadway. And they were trying to get clarification, like asking because the bike lane is on the roadway. And so technically you might argue that the restaurants that are serving alcohol across the bike lane may be in violation. Now, having said that, I also got a message from Andrew indicating that, you don't really consider the bike traffic, as in like traffic on the roadway. And given that apparently the SLA hasn't commented on this, and also given that when the program started during the pandemic, and the SLA was allowing the applications to be the alcohol to be served on the street seating, they must have known that we had bike lanes, and they did not raise the issue. That leads me to believe that this is a non-starter, that this is not a problem. So let me have Andrew comment if he has a comment to that, and then anybody else raise their hand and comment.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Christian. I was just, I didn't get to hear the first part, but I heard the second part. And yeah, I mean, I think essentially that's it. Again, this is putting my work hat on. And part of the conversation was that when the program was initiated, everyone clearly knew that roadway seating meant in certain areas, you had to cross the bike lane. And the whole intent of the law, because it was a non-contiguous area, was that it would allow for liquor to be served in non-contiguous areas like the roadway seating in the bike lane. So to find a creative way to say otherwise is fine. People are free to make any type of arguments they can, but I think the whole intent of the law was to allow for alcohol to be served in these areas. So I don't know, if there's, it was a conversation, how much more there is to add.
It was a conversation, by the way, that was brought up when DOT in 2020 was first devising these, and we all suggested that they move the bike lanes and keep the curbside seating, at the curb.
Correct, but that wouldn't have, but that wouldn't have even, but that was city, and that wouldn't have even addressed it. The law that was passed, there's different parts of it, was state. Yes, correct. It was state, but it was also to allow alcohol to be served in non-contiguous areas, which meant crossing the sidewalk into the roadway area. So the whole intent of the law, for practical purposes, was to allow alcohol to be served in these areas, not just directly on the sidewalk that is right in front of the licensed premise.
We always served the liquor on the sidewalk, but that was through DCA, and you had to be licensed for a non-enclosed sidewalk cafe. And in tandem with that, the idea was for it to be, for the curbside seating to be consistent with that, rather than have that not so safe area where there was the bike lanes, and that predates the e-bikes. So it is a dilemma. Anybody want to opine on this?
Yeah, but Seema has to go ahead, Seema.
I actually have a related but not exactly on point question, so I can hold off if you'd like. I just wanted to ask Andrew what was going on with outdoor dining. I saw the court ruling that supported it, but was curious about what he thinks is going to happen.
Andrew?
I can answer now or after?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now?
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the issue was, so there was two lawsuits. The first one was the one the appellate division ruled on, I guess, last Monday, which ruled in favor of the city's appeal. Essentially, the lawsuit was that the city had to undertake a more thorough environmental impact study before implementing the permanent outdoor dining program. The initial judge ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The appellate division then, ruled in favor of the city's appeal and said that there was no damage done because the details of a permanent outdoor dining program had not been yet established. So how could you determine what the impact was? So they said the case was not yet right, meaning there wasn't enough information about the permanent program for them to make a determination about what the impact was and whether or not a more extensive environmental impact study would have to be conducted. So that lawsuit was what had been said was holding up the city passing and enacting a permanent version of the legislation. So essentially now the city can move forward, the city council can pass legislation, the mayor could sign it into law, and then the folks that filed that initial lawsuit have suggested or said plainly they will sue again under essentially the same grounds, that a more full environmental impact study will have to be conducted. So, we'll see. But at least now the legislative process can move and folks can understand, like, what are the different provisions going to be of the program and everything.
Okay.
That answer
Thank
it?
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, any other new business?
Jesse asked us to, Jesse sent all of the committee members, I'll be right with you, information about the street fairs and the new regulations. So for next month's BCI meeting, take a look at because right now you can apply for a street fair through a portal, and there used to be a lot more paperwork. But the criteria are the same as they've been since, for the last 25 years. So Jesse has asked us, the board office has asked us to take a look at it and be prepared to have it on discussion as a discussion for new business next month. So
Actually, Linda, Jesse didn't send it to the committee. She only sent it to us. So we can forward it to the committee later.
whoa, I thought you did. Okay, so we'll forward it to everybody, and so you've got a whole month to read it. So now we've got Ed Hirsch. Please unmute yourself.
Unmuting, sorry, and turning on my camera.
Oh, wow, hi.
Hi. Hey, this is my computer's acting funny here. Just a sec. Ed Hirsch from the West Side Rag. Just a question. And
Hey.
yeah, hi. Just a question for you. Did you address the first item on your published agenda, 2756 Broadway?
No, that one was postponed to next month.
That was also postponed along with the others that were postponed?
Yeah, at the last moment, yes.
Oh, okay. No worries.
No.
Benjamin?
Yeah, Linda, Christian, I know we had separately talked about this, but is it worth kind of updating on OCM and if there's any update as to whether they're going to attend on some of the some of the cannabis location issues?
As of yet, we have no commitment for them to attend.
We've invited them. They were supposed to be with us last month, and then they agreed to come this month, and now they've decided because they want to meet with all of the relative committee, relevant committees on all of the boards in each borough at one time. So all of, BCI will, along with, the liquor license, whatever. Anyway, they're going to meet with us. They're going to meet with all the peer committees at one time. So they won't meet with us separately. They did meet with us earlier this year, and they didn't have anything really
right
laid out at that point, so at that time, so.
Also, before we continue, I neglected to announce, since Linda was elected the co-secretary, on November 1st, she will no longer be the co-chair of this committee. Benjamin has been appointed as the next co-chair of BCI.
And he's awesome.
I'll try to be careful to seem somewhat smart on today's call as a result. It'll take some effort.
Okay. Okay, Doug,
and just on the OCM topic, I guess it's still open as to whether the same procedures for a cannabis-related establishment would be, followed as what we're doing here with the liquor authority as well, right?
We've been hoping that that's what they're going to decide right now.
Right.
They last time we spoke, they were unsure as to whether they said that they knew that they would make the decisions as to how many licensed cannabis dispensaries would be allowed in each area. They would determine it by their own criteria. So that was a little disturbing, which is why we want it back.
Yeah, got it. Understand.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Doug.
Adding to the OCM conversation, I understand that there may be a conversation happening, and I don't want to commit the elected officials, but there has been some discussion that Gail Brewer, Linda Rosenthal, and our state senator, Brian Hoylman, there may be an OCM discussion. So we're we're staying tuned for that, because I think it's really important. And I will say that at several meetings, I've tried to attend as many as possible. The OCM actually said that they would be notifying the community boards, which essentially is the same requirement for a wine and beer license. So it doesn't look like they're going to be seeking resolutions, which I find problematic. But we'll see. I think, it is yet to be determined, but I think we need to really speak to them about a lot of things. And I know that the elected officials have been very public about it. We have some serious issues in our district with illegal sales that are happening every single day. And the enforcement is a huge problem because basically there is none. So, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I've been very outspoken about this, but I think we should all hold OCM, have them be accountable. And I think our elected officials, it's certainly it's gotten their attention. So hopefully this.
Doug, we've tried to make them accountable. I think we've been emphatic about it. And evidently when they decide to do it, they will. That is the issue. And right now it's the Wild West out there.
Well, right. And so you have, listen, community board, and our job is to be advisory and be good squeaky wheels. But I'm very glad to hear that the elected officials, both state and city level, are also being squeaky wheels. And they have quite a bit of authority. And so I hope that I don't think I'm saying anything out of turn. I had a very frank conversation with Hoylman at the street fair about this, and he's very passionate about it and very aware of it. So I was very reassured to know that.
Okay, so Nicole Painter, do you have any announcements you would like to make?
Oh, sure. Thank you. So we have our final 3 open streets Sundays coming up. We have a lot planned. This weekend we are doing, among other things, we have a lot of music on the street, but we're doing a fundraiser for the West Side Campaign Against Hunger, which will be on the 72nd to 73rd block from 12 to 4 p.m. We'll have crafts, games, raffles with gift cards to a lot of our stores, and a lot of fun stuff going on. And it's a great cause to help feed our neighbors. On the 23rd of October, we are having our fashion show has been rescheduled. So it'll be at 3 p.m. on the block between 75th and 76th, highlighting looks from all of our local boutiques. We'll have live music and a stage and a DJ and all that fun stuff. On that same day at 5 p.m. around 72nd Street, we'll have a performance or a show by West Side Comedy Club. And then on the final Sunday, which is October 30th, we'll have tons of fun Halloween stuff. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. Hope to see you out there. And then one other note, I'm sure you all saw or that Mrs. Maisel is filming. So I've been able to coordinate with that team who is closing Central Park West on Sunday. So our open streets will end an hour earlier to make sure that we're not both closed at the same time. So just wanted to give everyone a heads up on that.
Thank you.
Can
Yeah.
you get any, autographs?
No,
I'll
I
work
got,
on it.
wait,
I'll work on it.
Barbara.
Nicole, question for you.
Yeah.
Have you asked that production company for any money for the Columbus Avenue bid for the
Yes, ma'am.
inconvenience?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
They're giving me a good amount.
excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
Very
good.
Good
Thank
amounts.
you.
And Andrew, you've got your hand up.
I will get in a lot of trouble if I don't say this, but Nicole's doing a great job. That's what I'll get in trouble for. But on Sunday, when the fundraising for West Side Campaign Against Hunger is happening at KT Collection, what is that, Nicole? Like 73rd Street?
Yeah, fresh
74?
73rd.
I will be there, and I will just say there is going to be a lot of cute neighborhood kids there doing lots of great drinks and everything. So everyone should come out, bring as much cash as you can, because 100% is going to charity. And you could also tip them as well. They're all very excited, and they're going to be working hard, and they're going to have signs, and they love the Upper West Side, and they love the neighborhood, and I'll be there too.
Will there be an
It's
Olivia
really
there?
great.
Will there be an Olivia?
There may be an Olivia, there may be an Oliver, there may be a whole bunch of cute little munchkins that are working hard to support the neighborhood. So it would be really great to see people out there, and in front of KT Collection, where they have really nice jewelry as well that people know. And it's a local female-owned small business. So
Is that 73rd Street?
73rd.
73rd in Columbus.
Okay.
Yeah, on the southwest side of the street.
That's my pitch. That's it.
Got it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Madeline, you want to say anything? For some reason, we're not hearing you.
You're not muted, Madeline, but your sound is off. We still
Yeah.
can't hear you.
For some reason, it's not working. Okay. Okay, so thank you all for coming, and have a good evening, and we'll see you next time.
And wait, one more thing. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you for letting me be your co-chair all these years. And I love this committee, and I'm still going to be a member of the committee because I love small businesses, and I'm a small business.
Thank you, Linda. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Thank
Yes,
you.
I must say, Linda has been a very excellent chair.
And working with Christian is, I'm telling you right now, Ben, working with Christian is like butter.
I can tell. I'm excited.
Okay, guys.
Benjamin, yeah, you're in great hands with Christian, and we're all going to be here to support you too, Benjamin. So it'll be great.
Great. Thanks so much, Doug.
100%.
I'm looking forward to
And-
working with everyone a lot more.
We'll forward you all of the new, information about street fairs. So that'll be like some fun reading, that and probably.
Great.
Dostoevsky.
Okay,
Okay.
everybody, have a good night. Enjoy.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.